Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Joshua Bridwell Show. This is usually the podcast where I talk about your personal, professional, and spiritual growth. But today I'm wanting to be a little bit more reflective. This is the very first episode of 2026. I almost said 2025, but the very first episode of 2026. And I want to spend it in a really special way. I want to take you through a journey of my life over the last year. So, for those that have been following me for a little while, know that my word of the year for 2025 was the word intentionality. It was my North Star, what it is that I did in order to try and make decisions. It's an area that I needed to grow in my life. And I'm going to be sharing moments with you, one moment from each month of 2025 that I believe is in line with intentionality, but it is just a gratitude moment, a time for me to sit back and just be appreciative of all that 2025 had. So, this is not an all encompassing list of everything that happened, but these are just special moments to me from 2025. In January, which it's a Texas January, so we may or may not have cold weather, my wife and I decided to just slow down one day. We were frozen in at the house. If you are from Texas, you know that we really don't get snow, we get ice. So we went outside to build a snowman or an ice man. It was me and my wife, and we couldn't find anything for the eyes. So we used our dog's like squeak toys in order to make the eyes. And it was a really special moment that just encouraged us to bond together and slow down and just have fun together as a married couple. And our dog decided to join in as well. And then in February, I got to experience something new with some incredible leaders. I had the opportunity to travel to Colorado. Never been to Colorado, I'd never been to the mountains. People would ask me frequently, would you rather go to the beach? Would you rather go to the mountains? And I always said the beach because I didn't have anything to really compare it to. But now I would honestly say I think that I'd rather go to the mountains. It's very beautiful. And when I'm standing there and I'm looking around at just the mountains and the snow and the people that I get to experience this with, it was a moment of just shock and awe and beauty, and just a reminder that this is God's creation. When I was standing on top of the mountain, I slowed down, I prayed, and I praised God for just how beautiful it was and for the opportunity for me to get to go and experience that. It was really special. I got to go for a leadership trip with a company that I used to work for. There was brainstorming, and it was a 10 out of 10 time. In March, I got to experience something fun and something that I never thought that I would get to do. Something that I've been doing for a while is trying to find ways to praise God with the gifts that He has given me. Something that's really fun for me is I love to sing. If you can't tell, I love music. I've got guitars over here, I've got saxophones over here, I've got piano. I used to write music, and I love to worship God with music. And in March, I had the opportunity to be a part of Covenant Church's brand new album. It is all over Spotify. It's called Can You Hear It? Please go check it out. Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get your music. It was a really special moment for me to just worship with some amazing people, build connections that I wouldn't have had the opportunity to meet in any other capacity. But God, He really showed up. It was really powerful. We saw a lot of revival. We saw a lot of lives changed because of this moment. And I'm beyond grateful for that opportunity. In April, I had meniscus surgery. A little bit of a backstory for you. I tore my meniscus back in November, and we didn't know really what was wrong. We knew that sometimes it was fine for me to walk, and then other times I would sit down, and it was excruciating to stand up, to move around. And I thought that I was just being overly dramatic. And then I went to the doctor in March, and the doctor said, "You have a torn meniscus. We need to get in there. We need to repair this." And I had been told for a long time, because this was a work injury, I'd been told for a long time that I overexerted myself, I pushed myself too hard, and I ignored all of the people that told me that, and I pushed myself too far one day, and that's how I tore my meniscus. And then in April, I had surgery, and here's where it ties in the gratitude, the intentionality. I discovered that if you do not choose when to rest, life will choose for you, and it's much easier for you to choose rest on your own. But in slowing down, I had the opportunity to focus on my schoolwork while also working on additional projects. I had the opportunity to record an episode of the Joshua Bridwell Show for you as I was going through this. I really appreciated the time to just slow down and to reflect and work on projects and relax while recovering. A big milestone in my family's life happened in May, where my wife graduated with her master's degree in school counseling. I have been with her from the time that she decided to try and pursue something else, to deciding that this was the route that she wanted to pursue, to her getting accepted. The entire time, I'm so proud of my wife. I am. There were long days, long nights trying to balance work with school and life and just being present at home. She did a phenomenal job, and we got to see her walk the stage in May. It was a beautiful moment. Her family was there, my family was there. Just, babe, if you're watching this, well done. I'm so proud of you. And I get to now experience how fulfilling her job is, because she comes home and I can just tell that she is in the right space. She is using the gifts that God has given her to truly make an impact in the lives of the youth of this country. And then in June, I had a lot of fun. I used to do theater in the small town where I grew up. I did it in high school, but at some point I put that away. I stopped acting as much. But in June, I had the opportunity to help my church with Vacation Bible School, where we would meet up in the mornings and we would have a continuous story that lasted over the course of several days. And there was a lesson at the end of all of that, and I had the opportunity to play the bad guy. That was a whole lot of fun. It was a way for me to impact the faith journey of the youth, but also it was just a way for me to have fun and to connect with that part of my past and connect with people at the church that I don't think that I would have had an opportunity to connect with otherwise. Very, very grateful for that opportunity. In July, we had our gender reveal party, and a fun moment in this was how we actually chose to reveal the gender. Backing up just a little bit, for our gender reveal party, we actually were not 100% sure that we knew, but we had done some genetic testing to find out the gender and everything. And they all came back inconclusive, which was a little scary, but we trusted the doctors, and we didn't know what the gender was going to be, so we asked our OBGYN, and he said, based on his professional opinion, he could not tell us for certain, but in his opinion, it was going to be a girl. So we built our entire gender reveal party around it being a girl. Spoiler alert, she is. But we chose to reveal the gender with these little plastic footballs. If you've ever grown up Easter egg hunting and you know those little plastic Easter eggs, it was essentially like that, but my wife and I love sports, so they were footballs. We had a tree cut down in our front yard a year and a half ago at this point. And I don't know if the football slipped or what, but my wife threw the football. It hit the tree stump in our front yard from where the tree used to be. And that football shattered into a million pieces. Everyone that was gathered around got some sort of color on them. All of the cars got color on them. It made for a really funny moment, and I have a picture of the exact moment when the football hit the tree stump, because we didn't know what happened at first. We just knew color went much farther than it should have. But it made for a really fun and memorable moment. And I'm really grateful for all of the people that came to support, and just for all of the love that we've experienced throughout that journey. In August, I had a really major milestone in our family. I graduated with my Master of Divinity degree. For those that don't know what it is a theological degree that could set me up for chaplaincy or church leadership. I had been working for this degree for about 4 years. It's typically a 3-year program, but I was a little bit of a slower pace, just trying to manage a job and family, all of that stuff. But I finally graduated in August, and I'm very, very grateful for all of the people in my life that understood the journey that I was on. I'm very much a God first person. I believe that in life, priorities should be God, family, then work. And you could say this is schoolwork, so it would constitute as work. But I chose to see this as God, because this is a path that God put me on, and I was going to see it through to the end. So I'm very grateful for all the people that understood that journey. I'm grateful for the sacrifices that my wife made, that my friends made, that my family made for me to finally accomplish this. In September, I had made a decision to make the most controversial content that I've ever made. I was scared to do it. Truthfully, I was. If you go back and you watch a lot of my old content, you'll notice I was very particular in the words that I chose. I was walking on eggshells. I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. That is not my intention with my content. But I was not being 100% myself. By making the controversial content, I chose to lean into my beliefs, into my morals, into my faith, and I noticed something shocking. What I thought was going to push people away from my content, people actually related to. And that was a really eye-opening moment for me. I'm not going to give you too many spoilers. I'm creating an episode on my other channel, which is just Joshua Bridwell. So if you're not following Joshua Bridwell, I'm going to go ahead and I'll link that for you in the description below. Head on over, follow that channel. I'm going to be talking about some of the things that I'm focusing on in 2026 and just making my content different than I have before is one of the things that I'm going to be focusing on. That way I can let my beliefs and my morals and my faith really shine through and making more of a difference, being more intentional about that. And then in October, I started a new job in a brand new industry. Back in May, I lost my job after about 8 years. What happened was my position was dissolved in the company. There was some restructuring that happened. And I said, okay, I'm going to put a pause in finding a full-time new job until I graduate college. Well, when I graduated with my master's, I said, okay, it's time for me to sit down and really try and find a job. Well, I found that finding a job in 2025 was a really difficult task. But at the end of September, I received an offer for a new job in a brand new industry, and on October 6th, I started that new job, and I'm very, very grateful for what it's done for me and my family. I received that offer at just the perfect time. I'm working with some amazing leaders and doing some really, really important work, all while trying to build this content. So please, if you haven't already subscribed, if you haven't hit that bell, please do so. I'm here trying to make a positive impact for you, for me, for my family. And I just want to say thank you very much for being here. And if you've been here from the very beginning, thank you. It has been a wild journey. You've seen me grow so much in this period of time. But if you're new to this channel, hey, thanks for sticking around this long. Most people don't. But you truly care about me and about your growth. So thank you very much. Hit that subscribe button. Join the family. Do not miss out. In November, I finally purchased a new car. It is probably long overdue. People told me I needed a new car for a long time, but I didn't think that there was anything wrong with it. I experienced engine failure, and then that forced me to have to find a new vehicle. But I'm in a new vehicle now, and it is by the grace of God that I was able to find a good deal on a good car very quickly. So, man, I'm so blessed by that. And I cannot think of a better way to end 2025 than what happened to me in December. On December 31st, 2025, the absolute last day of the year, at 5:05 p.m., wife and I delivered our Berkeley May Bridwell. Y'all, she's beautiful. People say that their children are the best thing that ever happened to them. I can say that I feel that that's true. When I saw her, we had to go in for a C-section. If you don't know what that is, I'm not going to explain it on this channel. But we went in for a C-section, and the moment that I saw Berkeley's face, I just began to cry, because it was not the easiest pregnancy in the world. And everything that had to happen throughout this journey to get us to that moment was just a reminder of God's faithfulness, His love, His blessings. I know for a fact that it is only by God that I got to see her face. There are so many things that could have gone wrong from the time that she was conceived um, to the time that she was delivered. But I'm grateful for just the faithfulness of God. We knew early on that God did not bring us that far to just get us that far. If there's something in your life that you don't believe that God can do for you, I have a baby girl in the other room right now that is living proof that God can and will do anything. Those that love Him. 2025 has just been a spectacular year, and I cannot wait to see what 2026 has for me, for my family, for all of you. Please stick around. Again, hit that subscribe button, join the family. I don't want you to miss any part of this journey. I want to hear something in the comments that was a special moment for you in 2025. And I cannot wait to see you next week, because this has been the very first episode of the Joshua Bridwell Show of 2026. Thank you very much for tuning in. Tune in next time. And as always, let's grow.